Bet. So this card will be about imbalance correlation. Most people think imbalances correlating are, I'm getting straight to it, situations like this, situations like this. Now, this is in verbatim, but this is not imbalance correlation. And just to keep it real, this is not imbalance correlation, right? Meaning this has nothing to do with this. This has something to do with this, but this is not the correlation of the imbalance. All right, just want to make that verbatim. We are not looking for imbalances to correlate as the same color. Put it in your notes. You're not looking for your imbalance to coordinate in the same color. What do you mean by that, Ty? That means, I can use this as an example, right? This imbalance, I went over this plenty of times. This imbalance, my low here, my high here, this imbalance, I know we said 3 or more. So 3 or more, running some more. Yeah, 3 or more, running some more. But on the lower time frame, we are running 3 or more, right? This imbalance is in correlation with this imbalance. Why is that? Because this imbalance has not been fulfilled, but this imbalance was created based off of this external zone. If you don't know what external zone is, go look at the last 2 YouTube videos, right? So what does this do for me? This allows me to be confident in saying that I am anticipating looking for shorts to rebalance where? Into this zone 1 that hasn't been fulfilled. Now, we're not going to move too quickly from it because you have to understand that, right? What do you mean by this, Ty? Normal fib drawers, if you may, what we just did, they're doing left to right, right? They're doing low to high based off the trajectory, right, of what hasn't occurred. And it's perfectly fine. We call that standard fib. We call it standard fib. But we, as those who have been a part of the system, understand that if price did not hit here, I definitely want to set myself up for looking for shorts, given the take of the market environment anyway. Right? Give and take of the market environment anyway. So not only am I looking at, which we call this zone, our short zone, this entirety of this section, I'm glad I'm going over this to this extent. This entirety of this section is technically an exit zone. What do you mean by that, Ty? Because you should have already been in a buy to get to here, to exit, external zone, exit, right? Meaning this somewhere, somehow ends up being a confidence zone on a time frame that we haven't gotten to. Or not even that we haven't gotten to, that we kind of already know why this happened. All right, and we found out why this happened, like just so everybody's, on the same page. I hate, not keep y'all in the loop. This is a daily confidence zone, right? Just so we're aware. So you know where we're at. So we went low, high. You see how I drew my fib from right to left, right? So we are low here, high here. It's a daily. I don't want to keep doing this all over again, but you should already have these markups. This is why this went up here. But with your 4-hour time frame, it's not that you wouldn't have got the information, you just wouldn't have got it precisely as accurate as that daily. All right, so I can delete this. Y'all cool with that? You got clarity on where that stemmed from. If you don't, go to 2 YouTube videos ago and I actually break down it from a top-down analysis. We're not here to do top-down, it's a recap, right? So that means if this, you have to say it like this though. If this is in correlation with this, that means by the time I'm seeing a potential short happen up here, I'm trusting my target. I'm trusting my system. I'm not believing what Todd says. I'm actually trusting my execution to see price come fulfill this imbalance. You see, most people, and don't get me wrong, we used to trade this. Shout out to my boy Tay. Be home in a month. We used to call this inverted, right? We used to call this inverted fibs, meaning we know that this imbalance didn't get fulfilled, but we loading up a clip right here because it's an inverted fib. So we're technically buying a premium when we're not supposed to, but on the lower time frame, it's probably sitting in a zone one. But we would normally just say, hey, let's buy us here, not stop loss way down here, right? But attentively, let's protect ourselves in the case that price does come down here. It doesn't do that until when 11th, all the way to the 18th, a week later, 7 days literally. It took a week to fulfill. So that means you're thinking like, well, Ty, man, I missed out on that. You didn't miss anything. You just didn't go get the information of the correlation of the imbalances that needed to be fulfilled. Now, in correlation, all right, y'all got that, right? So just to map it out, I got this on the first call, I think. This is in correlation with this, right? See that? So you may say, well, Ty, what about this run? Okay, so by the time you identify that, right? Now I'm not going to draw too many zones just yet. I just want to go over runners, right? You do understand that this entirety of this stretch of a run on sell side, which we ran this low, is an imbalance, and it immediately rebalanced. Now we have fillers in here, etc. But this is really the market all day. People may say the market just goes up and down and to the right, but where's the substance in the up and down and to the right? Because we go down and we go up. We go down and we go up, right? We go down, we go up. We go down. This is an imbalance, right? So by the time I see that this hasn't been fulfilled, I want to be aware to say, this hasn't happened yet. Okay? This hasn't happened yet. Right? We don't hit a zone two. So what does this do for me? This is an eye for me to say, I'm looking for buys to come fulfill here. When the time comes, I have to be prepared for that. But you're wondering, like, well, Ty, it sold off to 0.5. I gave people this level, equilibrium, 0.5. You have to follow the imbalance as we talked about last. Right? So my thing is, let's point this out. This imbalance, right? What is it in correlation with? Anybody? I want you to see it. I want you to see it. Even if it goes to the left, I want you to see it. All right, I'll give it to you. It's this imbalance. Now, if you didn't guess that, it's perfectly fine. But Ty, I thought you said it's catty corner. You may say, well, I'm not understanding, Ty. It's not meant for you to understand if you didn't get it. All right. Now, I can really say this because on a daily, that's probably what it is. And I'm going to say that. Yeah, I'm going to say this. We're going to use this as a filler. That's our filler. All right. I want you to study this real fast. All right. I want you to study this. Why do I say this is in correlation? Glad you didn't ask. It's because we hit confidence zone right here. So what does that mean for me? That just means when I'm going to map out my potential buys, if I may, yes, we got motion right here because price came down to this imbalance. Let me really break this down for y'all. Right? If you would have mapped this low and this high out, right? And you didn't have no information on fillers, what fillers understood, you went pair to pair, meaning you went here and you went here, you would have said, oh, I'm looking for buys right here, Ty. That's perfect. You got your opportunity right there. 6 p.m. candle. And you went up here. Right? You went up here. Do you think like, all right, we're going to get this high, or do you actually do what? Follow the imbalance. I want you to stick here, right? Because I'm gonna stretch this a little bit because it's the entirety of the move. Hold on, let me see. All right, somebody said. So by the time you see this, right, you don't have this existing. You only have your bounce right here. So if you were looking for buys, why are you triggered right here? Right? Why are you triggering right here? This is no man's land. We call this white space. That means you're guessing. Right? But at the same time, you have an imbalance that formed right here. 3 or more, running some more. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to follow the imbalance, right? So by the time we get here, you now see that this entirety of this move is your counterpart, right? Let me see if you see that. Because I can take this high, I can take this low, and what do I have? Zone 2, I'm out of there. So you wouldn't have bought here. You would have anticipated, let me get ready for the sell. Like, really take the time to understand when you should be trading and when you should not be trading. Zone 2, I don't hesitate. I just got out the call, the one-on-one call. By the time this candle prints at 10 a.m., you should already be in position to say, oh, I want to sell it right here. You don't wait. This happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're going to wait till 2 o'clock in the morning to price. I'm going to sit here and do what I do, Ty. Like, no, you're going to set the limit and go about your day. This helps you stay focused on the bigger picture, right? Because you see that price never came back down here to fulfill. So if anything, you've already set this limit based off the information you have here, right? You just instantly go back here. Now look, we're in white space. How do we sell in white space here? Right? Because even with this information, your sell should have already triggered here above said highs. So you're thinking like, well, Ty, man, I wasn't able to. No. Because before we got here, what do we have here? You see how I can go back and forth with this all day? Like correlating. You have to understand that this is one scenario. This is one scenario, right? Where not even one scenario. This imbalance is in correlation with this imbalance, right? You may say, well, Tom, what about this and this? The correlation has to be opposites. It has to be, because when we're seeing the market going up, we are anticipating to what? Short the market. Anticipating. So we don't want to continue buying upward moving candles. We want to anticipate, where is this market shorting? What did I speak about following the imbalance on the notes? You can anticipate where the market is looking to short or sell off based off of one fib that has ran sell side. This is why we draw a fib from right to left, right? Because if you're new to this call, if you're new to the system, the move basically started right here. And once again, what happened? We have no substance right here. So you would have been out back. We're trying to catch a buy. Now, if you know, our one candlestick theory, you would have been on game. You know what I'm saying? You would have been on game at 6 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? Or even right here to catch that. But we also have this happening, this high right here, right? This is a filler pivot, right? Based off of this execution. So that means on a daily, I'm probably going to be mapping out this to catch that one candle right here at 10 a.m. And now look how this adds up. I don't want to do time correlation right now, or time frame correlation. That'll be another call. But you just have to understand this high coming right here, failing to come to, let me delete these ellipses for y'all for correlation. I'm teaching, so I'm not worried about executing, but keep eye on goal. All right. If you can't recognize, let me move this down. If you can't recognize the entirety of this is a whole move, you have more work to do. And why do I say that? It's because if we really could be transparent, right? If price fails, which it did, you got two scenarios where it fell at, right? It failed to came to your zone 2 for a sell, right? You don't trade this. You don't trade this if you're not already in position to be up here, if you may. You have no substance. And on a lower time frame, this one candle literally is like lower time frame where you probably have a zone 2, right? But if you're trading the 4 hour, you don't have no substance here. Let me turn these in blue for clarity too. Want nobody being confused based off 4 hour being your blue zones. All right. So, and you set up a limit here. You don't get picked up. Why are you panicking? Like, Ty, man, I had a sell limit right here. It didn't pick me up. I had a confidence zone. It didn't pick me up. All you had to do was understand that if I would go up one time frame, I'm pretty sure that this makes sense of the entirety of the move. So no longer am I looking for sales here. I'm looking for buys. But you say, Ty, man, it never came. But what did price do? It went through my zone 1 and it bounced. So I only had a split second to manually execute at 10. Right? So look, I see these relative highs. Now we get into the correlation part, right? I'm already mapping this out because I have 2 hours to do this. I'm up at 6 o'clock. Okay, cool. I get the 6 o'clock candle, right? All right. I'm waiting. I'm not buying this as it's moving up. I want to see price go above it and actually come back to it. I don't care if price actually went up here to the zone too. I'm on. Then I can set a limit. But at the moment price opens up and comes down, I'm executing. Let alone I'm on my 4 hour, and I'm already executing here too. Not executing, but I'm seeing this. But what happened first? This struck through my zone too. So what do I think? I'm like, yo, I have to see the correlation over here. I have to see it. I have to see it. Where am I seeing it? I'm seeing 3 or more right here. Seeing three or more right here. So now I'm going to identify 3. I'm seeing 3 or more right here. But I'm seeing relativity in the highs. What do we know about highs and lows? Being liquidity. Support and resistance is nothing but a form of liquidity generators, meaning that once that forms support, or the support forms or the resistance forms, I'm looking to be above said highs or beneath said lows to get my entry off. Right? I'm going here. No hesitation. This puts me above the highs. It puts me in my short zone. I'm clear to go. And now, where do I have a target? I have a target here. So even before any of this happens, I've already set myself up based off of this identity of price failing to come here based off me mapping out the imbalance and failing to come here when it came up. So each time I'm getting pivoted. So imagine if I went from this low to this high. That means my sell doesn't register until here. That means now I'm looking for a higher bid, but what is it showing me every time? Each time the short zone is showing me an imbalance that has not been fulfilled. What do you mean by that, Ty? That means if I were to draw this low to this high, you see how they line up? You see that, right? So this is a scenario where, here you go, imbalance. And once again, we on a 4 hour, so that I just know this entirety of this swing is in coherence with this entirety of this swing. And where are you getting the correlation from, Ty? That means I'm looking for price to strike liquidity. I want you to always keep in mind, we have our 4 pillars. I'll get this to you. Number 1, top-down analysis. Number 2, runs on liquidity. Really circle that as many times you need to, highlight it, underline it. Number 2 is your most important factor. Number 3, fib it out. Number 4, point of distribution, pods. Right? You need more emphasis on those, come to the chat. Description in below how to get there. Right? So when I see this low take out here, right? And this runs up, what is in correlation right now? This is in correlation with this because this exceeds this high. Correlation, got it. By the time we raid this high, right, and even right here, right, I now see this stretch 3 or more, running some more, is in correlation with this because now we have ran this low after running this high. It's all liquidity to me. I'm waiting for the market to run liquidity because I've already found a move to get me there. Right? I've already found a move to get me there. I don't have the guesswork. I'll delete this so you can see what I'm talking about. There's no more guesswork. This anticipated this. So I'm not chasing this, but look, I'm on the way up there because price went above my said zone, came to my zone 1. And then what happens? This comes here. So I dictated 1 fib off a run of 3 or more, running sell side. Let me add more annotation for those who need it. Run on sell side. Bingo. Let me go ahead and set my limit right here for potential buy. In the case that price decides it wants, I can do that. But let me go ahead and prepare myself for a potential sell. And I know with the chat, I know we always went 4 zones. I want you to start adding this one too, right? As a dominant. Now, the only reason you're adding this is because higher time frames are our directional bias, right? They are a directional bias. So we want to make sure that we map out the dominant run that's facilitating the run. This run facilitated this run. So what do we have another correlation? This is in correlation. Excuse me. This is in correlation with this. I think I mentioned that. Because we took off based off this fib, meaning The core of the core of this right now is this. It's not debating it. I literally can press a button one time here. I can exit right here, evaluate the situation, map out exactly what I'm seeing. So we can range this from what? 06 to 71. I'm thinking levels at this point. By the time I get the external and it's showing me 30 levels to about 60 levels, I want to anticipate 50 being tapped based off any imbalances that haven't been fulfilled. So if I get this stretch and price pulls back right here and we break structure right here, but we don't come to this sweet spot of this range, I'm now anticipating sales. Why? Because look what happened. I now have a what? A runner. 3 or more that broke structure. I want you to put this. I'm looking for the breakup structure based off the runners on liquidity. Because that's going to identify exactly what's going to help me map out my future move, if you may. But if you just had this mapped out, you could have literally sold either one of these territories. Either one. Let's say you sold right here at 22, you get stopped out at 59. Great. Get picked back up. You have another opportunity. Right? It's up to you to decide where your stop loss is. So if you're selling 58, 72, what's ideal? This high right here is lingering. 98, take me out here. If you take me out here, I know why. Because the imbalance based off of this stretch. What do you mean by that, Ty? No, we probably got the zone 2 here. Yeah, we did. So this has already been fulfilled. It only came back. It only came back right to this said zone 2. So imagine you had this in your history of not deleting your zones, like I always do. But you had this in your arsenal. You're like, oh, shoot, it could be coming back up to this 68 to 82. So now you're not impulsively selling here. You should be exiting here. You get it? By the time you get here, it's called external for a reason. You need to be exiting. It's not that you need to be looking for sales, but if you miss the move, you have no other options but to look for the short or sell because you missed the move right here. So you may say, nah, I'm gonna just wait until the price comes here to buy. You mean to tell me you leave all this money on the table just because you want to catch the bottom of the bottoms to see if gold is going to ride up? So the whole time you caught this. 53, nice, 50 level, 44, 53, you banging it. Nice little stretch, 100 base points. Can't nobody tell you nothing. Where you getting out at? Oh, no, Todd, this imbalance right here ain't been fulfilled. That's great. What happened? Tell me what happened. You can't because you was waiting to get your target up here when you should have been selling down here to exit zone to zone. Now I can evaluate the situation. Oh, I can evaluate the situation because now I'm not looking to buy. And even if I did, it's an intraday perspective because what's happening right here, I'm getting a bunch of resistance. So I need to play it smooth to see what imbalance is going to fulfill itself for me. I get to run off the sell side right here. You know what I'm saying? You start following suit. You start following suit. Y'all did get this right though. Correlation here, 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 here. So caddy corner. And this is the thing. If you're using green and red candles, perfectly. My black candles are green. But just because the green is on the left doesn't always mean that's the only imbalances you're looking for as correlation. No, it doesn't matter where the imbalance is, anticipate a rebalance. It doesn't have to always fulfill the imbalance in the same way. It doesn't always have to fulfill the gap. I know people out here who are trading gaps and they think that's a strategy. It's not. Because if you were trading gaps, oh, price is in this gap to sell, you got bamboozled. Like this exceeded your gap. Oh man, it fulfilled the gap. So I was, but look, it went through, came back to, and then sold off. But it sold off over what? Our short zone in correlation with the gap. I used to always ask myself, I'm like, yo, these voids are acting as candles. And if you really just put the same color candle in the run, if you may, of the gap, it just makes sense. Like, oh, this jump. So people are going to say, oh, price fulfilled this gap. We're going up. Whole time you get bamboozled. We go through the gap. Then we come back and we sit in the gap and we sell off again. So is trading gaps really a theory? It's not. Because I know everybody named Mama, when we get to, Nas, I covered it, traded that gap down and they was like, oh, more all-time highs and boom, crushed. I seen so many people on social media bamboozled like last night. Yesterday evening. Whole time, if you set up the zone, like there's a layup in the afternoon session, 2 o'clock candle at that, randomly, right? And then we sold off today. People got bamboozled. It was funny seeing the commentary, well, the seriousness online. I'm like, dang, all you had to do was hop on a link that I put on Threads on Instagram. Could have been on game or went to YouTube for free. People don't value free these days. But like I said, you were right here. You bought, right? Off the wick. But did you do your information thoroughly right here? Right? Because this was the last runner that was affected. Meaning, although you bought this, you got the temporary move, but we never came here. What are we supposed to do? Follow what? The imbalance, right? So by the time I'm here, I'm already asking what's going to correlate with this one? What's going to correlate? And this is the thing, add in your notes. All imbalances won't have a correlation. I have to say that because some people are going to run with this. He's talking about imbalance correlation. Well, there's no correlation. There's a correlation because it's gonna be a run up when it's time where price hits here, and it's gonna be a run that's gonna correlate with weeks out of a time that finally correlates with this imbalance. But you have to what? Trade what you see, not what you hope to see. All right, so let's just say you went with this runner. Boom, you in confidence on. You like, dang, Ty got stopped out, man. I thought whole time, what is this zone one, right? So you like, nah, Ty, it's sold off on zone one. Zone one, bro. You said we supposed to be buying right here. Now, use your common sense here. Have you seen any support sitting right here? All these candles, are closing underneath here. So you're asking yourself, like, all right, I'ma just no, you have to go find out the why, right? Because by the time you get this here, that means something down here gave you substance to get up here. It gave you some type of substance. Now it's up to you to go find it out. And this is where you have to go down in your time frames to go get the information you're looking for. All right. So look at this. I want to show you. That's why I say 3 or more is very effective. You see how this is only 2 on the 4 hour? Never hit zone, your short zone until when? So let's even delete that. So whole time it's sitting in zone 1. Let me recap. Zone 1 of this imbalance, right? Whole time. Imagine you went with this runner because this was the last one that what? Ran sell sign. Remember, number 2, run on liquidity. That's all I'm after. Where are you showing me a dominant run on liquidity? You just ran. This candle did not run this low. This candle did. So that means on a lower time frame, I don't have to go there. All right. This is Friday to Sunday opening. We ran the dominant sell sign. Bingo. I want to use this if I'm on my 4 hour. I'm not selling until price shows me this. But I don't have to miss out on the money. Right? I don't have to miss out on the money. That means my limit is set at 91, 92 to 600. I want to get right up at 90, pick me up right at 91 so I can get in this zone. This is tight. Right? So if I'm looking at, is this a logical stop loss? Absolutely. That's 30 base points for gold. We can risk that. I'm not afraid of that risk. We can risk that. And if I need to go lower on the 1 hour, maybe I'll come right here. This is a 1 hour, 613. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do 20 base points. Perfectly fine. But what I'm not gonna do is try to hit up here in situations up here where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit and wait 50 base points. I'm trusting this drop, but pricing already dropped right here. So by the time price runs up here, you're thinking, oh, we broke structure, price is going up. You should have already been down here, right? Because look, this would have been your buy. So you literally had an opportunity. All right, price didn't pick me up. Dang, bro, I'm in my zone 1, but I don't want to test it. Ty, okay. If you're trading the 4 hour, that means you don't get picked up until weird. But you have so much time to go ahead and set this limit. It's only Sunday. This happens Tuesday. If you've been trading with me for some time, what do we know about Sunday to Tuesday? Right? Let alone you came to the confidence zone you had over here. But you got more clarity right here off the wick. Who's breaking it down like that? I don't care who's. Are you here to learn this stuff? Right? So by the time I'm here, I'm like, oh, shoot. Ty was able to catch that wiki you kept speaking about. All right, bet. So now what am I doing? I'm following the imbalance. I got 3 or more right here sitting. Right? I got here and I got here. So that means now what am I waiting on? I'm in my confidence zone, right? Price will move up. I'm not spooked. I'm not spooked. I got picked up at 53. By this time, my stop loss can sit around this low right here, 39, 38. That's cool. Cool, smooth, 20-something base points. Right? Where am I seeing my first target? When price exits the fib. Okay. I got the confidence zone. I don't see no bounce, but we stretching, Ty. That's perfectly fine. Why are we stretching? Because we had a little situation right here that you probably didn't recognize. So we had this, right? And then we had this. How many of y'all saw that before it happened? We broke the low right here on the lower time frame. These two candles are having runner situations. This is a black candle, by the way. This is my pair. You see how price runs right above buy side, but most people would tell you set a limit right above these highs with no substance. We have substance of an area. Even if we set a limit right here, we have an area where price could lead us to without guesswork. But look at my situation here. So even if I rolled the ride right here, I'm like, yo, I'm going to anticipate price come back up before a sell. I got to drop. Where did price drop? With this one fib. We drop. So price is running. You finally get this black candle to print. So you're already setting a limit right here for sales. You're already setting a limit right here for buys. Now, whole time, you remember, when you drew this, follow me, man. Follow me. I'm teaching y'all something. By the time you follow that imbalance right here, right, you're anticipating for buys here. And that same imbalance gave you a confidence zone perspective. But now you have a zone one perspective with more confidence. So not only did you catch a sell here, you caught it with a target in mind. You see, the whole purpose of this system is to get in position ahead of time to already have a target in mind to exit so you can reevaluate the situation instead of impulse. And if you want to bot yourself, I'm purposely saying that, you could have set a limit here, TP, set a limit here, get picked up. Because by the time you're doing this, you have a runner right here, right? So you're doing this. Remember, now we're doing left to right. You have this. You see how now you're diluted, You see how now this becomes somewhat of a, not even flawed, but we exit that zone one. That kind of ruffled my feathers a lot when price just used to like exceed zone ones, if you may, during that time. Or my premiums also like, man, they keep exceeding my zone. It's supposed to be with entries. But I was so thorough about why it allowed me to get to that right to left situation. So this way I can accurately say, this is why this wick stopped here. And nobody in this universe, I don't care how prestige they are as a trader, how much money they're making as a trader, will tell me otherwise. I could care less. Because there's been too much repetition in the way that I'm seeing this, but also the way it's been executed. Not by me, though. By your fellow traders on this call as well. And I can name them verbatim. Where what I'm pointing out, they're catching like it's nothing. Like it's clockwork. And they're trading the 4-hour candle. Hence why we're on the 4-hour. Right? So, before I move along, any questions? We're not done. We're just on phase one. Right? We're on phase one. But I just want you to start to see, like, go in and start seeing your, okay, I see the correlation. I see the tie. Okay, boom, boom, I see it, tie. Okay, boom, you said, okay, I see it, tie. And even right here where we're at, let's talk about it so you can actually see where price action is. All right, so boom, make this fast for y'all. This is how I'm seeing it. Here. You see how price action is showing you verbatim, like, all right. If anything, we come in, and we also have this could be the last stretch. Excuse me, potentially. But you got to go up in your time frame, get your top down to make sense of it. I'm just not doing top down today. All right. But if we look at the entirety of the move, right? That means on my daily, it looks something like this. Or you can go here with your eye, it's cool. That means what? I'm resisting off of zone one, right? I've already, in a sense, preordained a zone two. That means I could dip a little lower, give me that 50 level. I'll say 30 to 50, for 38.50, 38.30 to 38.60. Ideally, we could see that populate. But if we're going with 38.59 to 38.80, it's not about being so accurate and try to get 30 if it does go down. It's like, can your wrist handle that stretch? And if you use half wrist, can the next half wrist handle the stretch? Feel me? All right. So in my mind, I'm already correlating this though. Where did this sit at? I'm saying I pointed this out to the chat thing. Look where we sitting at. Right? There's no guesswork. That means if you would have bought here with confidence, which Greg did, shout out to Greg, he bought here. I think he called 80 level. And he put his risk on the board. He's like, man, I got out right around this area somewhere. I think he got out right around this area. He's out. I wish I should have held. I'm like, stop thinking like that. The only reason you wish you would have held is because you wish you would have had more risk on the board. This is where you have to be, cheesy as it sounds, this is where you have to be confident in your confident zone. Hence, that's why it's called the confident zone. Now, mind you, if you are not used to using a fib, you know your fib already comes with set levels, programmed, right? You already programmed with what they give you. If you want the numbers, you got to come to me now and get brainwashed with some new numbers, right? Because what you're seeing here is like, bro, I'm not understanding, Ty. Like you're just showing lines at this point. All the more reasons, come to the Holy Land. The grass is greener. Don't ask me, ask your fellow peers on the call, right? So by the time we get here, you're more confident in this decision making than waiting for price to potentially come to, if you may, your zone 2 for a sell here. It's like, no, Ty, you said just wait on the sell. The whole time you could have caught your counter, right? And then if we go lower, I promise you, some situation like this is going to put you in the zone 2. Hold on. I mean, but I don't know what I'm talking about. Because all I did was go down one time frame and understood that it was a runner right here. Now, mind you, we did not hit zone 2. So what is that? What does that bring in my mind? I'm like, yo, if I'm looking for accuracy in system tie, you see how you get more information? That's a black candle right there. You see how if you want a 1 hour? You see? That's why I feel like time frame correlation is going to be one of those 2-hour calls. We're not going to go over that right now. We're not going to go over that. And if you sit with me for 2 hours, I should not see you no more for the rest of the week because you got a lot of studying to do. But I treat this like a college course. If you're willing to go to college and get a degree and sit in class for an hour and a half, why can't you sit an hour and a half and potentially change your life with a system that's structured where you don't really have to do no work? So whole time you bought that confidence zone over here, right? Let's just say you bought blue. I'm really about to mess y'all up. 4th of July coming around the corner. Blue, white, and red. My fault, man. I'm just having fun. You bought blue to red. Who stopped you? Who stopped you? Right? You bought blue to red. Right? Because hold on, my bad. I ain't even shape it right. Y'all supposed to check me on that. Because we're about intentionality over here. But look, you could have banked your chip, yo, I'm buying this blue that goes zone 1 red. Zone 2 red. What does that look like? It caught the 50 level automatically, and we go to 42. Boom, Ty, that's my trade for the day. Well, Wednesday to Thursday. I had to do nothing. I slept so easy, Ty, where the pillow profits made sense for me not to do anything. And I went over this in my free chat today where I was doing 30-minute, 3 or more runners. I think I did that, right? Where I was like, don't pay attention to it. But I'm like, it was so much game right here, yo. So much game where you could have caught this zone 1, right? Just based off the information. So it's like you're more so thinking like, okay, boom, boom, here go a low, here go a runner, boom. That's the last one that tampered. All right, Tom, I'm going with that one, bro. Oh, you are? Look at what you did within 30 minutes. Whole time, you got your 1 bounce today at 8 o'clock. What CPI? Who cares about news? And I told the chat yesterday and even Tuesday, I think. I said, hey, all of this is nothing but CPI gonna bring the volume. What did it do today? It stamped U30. It stamped NASDAQ. Gold is still shuffling. But it gave you the volume you were looking for. Where? In your short zone. So if you was just trading a 30-minute alone, zone to zone, zone one. And this is where you manually execute because you don't have no time to really, you don't have no time to set a limit. Unless you've seen price go above and then you set your limit here. So by the time this prints and this happens, this comes right here. And let's say you bought right here, 78. Price came to 63. What you tripping for? Ideally, you're supposed to have your stop loss sitting right under your fib anyway. Why are you tripping with a little bit of drawdown? But where are you at? You're in a confidence zone. So you got extra confirmation. Oh, shoot. I caught the zone one on the third. Oh, I did my top down right. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and add another entry. And then you just sit still. But even if you bought here and you were a scalper, where did it go to? Zone two. You see how you're giving yourself a way out. So even if price came here, you trap the market at this point. You just bouncing 20 base points, 20 base. Is it worth it for me to do that? No, I want the dominant move. So every time price comes here, I'm not entering, but I'm like, all right, cool. It is what it is. I'm gonna just set my stop loss here and go about my way. I'll take an honorable loss if price comes to sweep me right here because now I have substance of, let me go ahead and set a limit right here. And based on my reaction, if price pulls back above here, I'll take what I lost up here. Because this distance from 38 even to 59, it gives me back my loss. Even if it doesn't go all the way up here to the moon. It gives me a reaction. And if it doesn't, I'm prepared with the confidence zone right here. You see how you're just minimizing your losses each time? So you're not even focused on what you're losing at that point. You're focusing on the reward so you can exit. The whole point is to exit. Right? That's the whole point. Exit. All right, let me check the chat. We got to go to U30. Damn boy, cookie. Okay. 30 base points a day, keep the dot that way. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I used to be against that because I didn't know what I was doing. And most traders get to a point where they think they're so far ahead of themselves. They think that they knew this stuff all along. Guys, I did not know these things all along. Mind you, I'm teaching you with blind lines and still know where I'm at in the market. You may be confused if you're not used to our system, but this is what it took for me to get to understanding that I can still teach you with lines without having to use a fib. Because already I'm preordained to know where my imbalances are. That was the missing key from the start. So if you are new to this style of trading, I'm encouraging you to take this video, the previous video before that, and just learn those 3 videos. You won't need to come to my chat. I don't need you. And I say that with love. I don't need you, right? But I want you to succeed in understanding that if you use this system at your will, profit at will, you will start to see some things that are just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, right? But it doesn't take 300,000 pips to get to the mind-blowing. What stops you from really getting to where you want to get at with this is you don't trust your risk enough to feel like 30 base points is enough. That used to be me. Nowadays, people try to use their ego with pips because 300 pips sounds better than 30 base points. I'm always bring out this theses that I read from a college university that studied traders on Wall Street, studied traders around the world. The average top 1% trader is catching on average 49.1 base points per move. And you may think like, that's a cakewalk. Is it? And have you done it? But you know what their risk is with that 49 base points? They making like 400,000. They making like 300,000. They making like 30,000 per trade with 49 base points. You're in the market you're in the market just creating this facade about, oh, we caught 800 pips today, 80 base points. Whoopie-doo. We caught 400 pips today. We caught 200 pips today. It's 20 base points, bro. Just keep it a bean. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing extravagant. 49 base points really is nothing extravagant when you really dial it in. You don't believe me? Okay. What's this? 78, 83. Matter of fact, Greg ball here. Imagine if you held this zone to this zone. Okay, we know 80 to 20 is 40 base points, 50 base points. Am I right? Or is that 80, 80? No, that's 60 base points. Right here, zone to zone, 60 base points. Literally, zone to zone. But did you catch this? And I gave this out. The chat this morning, when I wake up, y'all know my routine. Top of the morning crew. This is where we at. Zone one, pinging. The chat caught this, by the way. And then when price came right here, I was like, no, I think it came like to 40. I was like, yo, it looked like the buys held up for the move for the day. That don't mean we were looking like, oh, let's go all the way up here, gang. Like this imbalance ain't. No, bro. If you caught a 0.1 to this, that's $600. I like doing the math. Right? If you caught a standard right here, that's $6,000. You do have of it, 0.5, it's $3,000. You do have of a 0.1. What I said, that's $300. You see how it doesn't take a lot to make a lot. You just have to be willing, like, yo, I'm banking my chips right here. Stop loss sitting right here. What does that risk to reward look like for me? I'm out. So even by the time price went up here at 9 o'clock, did it run that high? It didn't. It came back here. Are you spooked? No. What are you supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be what? Following the imbalance. My bad for being so harsh on that, but you're supposed to be. So by this point, what does price fail to do? Come right here. So if I'm really, I wouldn't anticipate like to put a lot of chips on buying right here, but because we have so much support right here. But let's just say right now, if I'm trading the 30, right? I'm trading the 30, I gotta respect this imbalance up here too. So I'm gonna put both zones up here. Oh, my bad. I'm gonna put both zones up here. And I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna act like I'm pushing you off the ride. I even put one right here. I will map this out. All right, bet. U30. All right, man. Phase two. I had to make sure we were set. All right, bet. Hold on. All right, we good. We good. We good. Chat know what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know how my whole number started to map out. I think that's a trading view update. That's pretty dope. But let's talk about U30, bro. Who called U30 drives today? In the chat. In the chat. Who called U30 drive today, bro? Master mapping out the imbalance, you will profit at will. That boy Jalen need to write a book, coach, boy, because he done got two in the bag, man. Let me take a picture of that song. I got you, dog. When I write a book, I'm using the quotes in the book, quote Jalen Hart. You know what I'm saying? So look, I went over this, right, in the chat, right? And it was just mind-blowing, like, nobody responded, right? So when you think about Ty, I'm confused with all these colors, bro. Can you walk me through it? I'm not going to. I'm actually going to delete everything. My bad, my bad, my bad. No, not my bad. But all right, one or two things, right? You already see like this. Let's just map this out. Let's map this. I just really want you to map this. Okay. Ooh, we got when we hit our extreme confidence zone. This is really what we know we selling, right? We call this our extreme confidence zone. I don't really talk about this as much because we always end up positioning ourselves in the short zone, which on another time frame is probably an extreme confidence zone. But when you hit an extreme confidence zone, it's just like here. You have to have confidence to put the risk on the board because the sell is going to happen. And let me rephrase that for YouTube. The sell is more high probable. The sell is more likely to happen opposed to a short. The buy is more likely to happen opposed to just an in and out. I put it like that. But look at the runner though. This was Monday. So that means literally you could have caught a buy right here randomly at 10 o'clock. Target met with you 30. You definitely want to go ahead, you know what I'm saying? You've been there. By the time all of this happened, what I have three more. I'm almost practically in the same vicinity. Price has not came to my zone one. That's number one. Right? So at this point, I'm seeing. So even Let me zoom in because I know on YouTube it don't even look that big. I'm gonna start deleting fibs and just drawing them out because I'm gonna get to that all-time high. 3 or more right there, right? So it means while I'm right there, look at this phenomenal trade. Oh my God, we in the chat, we pray for times like this to trade like this, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like we really go meek right here. Really go meek right here. Why are you talking about Meek Mills, chat? Ty. Because when you catch a trade like this, boy, I'm on a 30-minute too, by the way. That's why it's not making sense for y'all. But when you catch a trade like this, you've mastered the art of the system. You mastered it. Like you literally went from confidence zone to extreme confidence zone. Literally. No move. So if you was a 30-minute trader and you just waited like right here, right? That's what 550 price gain of 30. So 30 to 60. When you trade indices, use 30 to 60. It's fair game. You trade in this and you get this. This is where you can say nobody can tell me nothing. I ain't worried about nothing. Rich Montana. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can tell you nothing. Right? But I want to get to the 4 hour. I just want to show y'all that. So let's talk about the all-time highs, right? I broke this down. I believe I know. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. Look at who got bamboozled right here trying to sell off. Crushed souls. Right? So what I did, I'm going to just show you to get this all-time high. I seen this as a filler. Although we went here, right? Although we went here. This is where the short zone is, right? This is a filler to me. Why? Because we did not hit the imbalance of zone 1. So even if you went, Ty, you said follow the imbalance, you definitely exceeded those numbers, right? Even if you went here, I'm just showing you different examples. What this is saying. You still did not catch the buy right here. And you're like, Ty, but I was banking on it. You was banking on it? Are you sure? Because in reality, you still would have missed the move because you would have looked for confidence zone right here. You still would have missed the move looking for confidence zone right here with this runner. So you're thinking like, oh, Ty, well, how would I have been able to catch this move? If you missing buys religiously, no, I mean keep this. Look at it. You see how we missed it there? You caught it here. Extreme confidence zone right there. You see, I can draw this fib so 10 different ways and still show you the reason why you should have sold in this area. This would have been one. I'm going to show you how many fibs line up. Now, this is where you have to do the work. So we went with this runner, right? That means you would have been able to potentially catch a buy where? Here. Oh, my bad. That's one runner. Got to change it up. I'm sorry for the passion. Actually, I'm not. I just get excited because I know you're learning something. And if you go back and rewatch this, you're gonna find some things that you weren't able to see the first time, just like reading a book. You don't need 1,000 books. You just need to read one book 1,000 times. Quote me on that. I hope you don't read a book 1,000 times and actually get the freaking message. That's one. Right? Remember, we here and here. That's one runner. I mean, map it out. Okay? 3 or more. Right? So you could have went here. Right? You could have went here. Your buys would have stemmed from here. You definitely exceeded, so you wouldn't have had no substance here, right? You wouldn't have no substance. So you could have went here. Could have went here, caught this short. Let's map that out. This could have been your money right here. But I'm going to show you something. And you still could be selling right now. I'm not telling you what to do, what not to do. No, we're not doing that. I said you could be. Didn't say do anything. Nobody hit me. You told me to sell, bro. I don't give signals. Right? And look, same zone lined up. So let's be colorful right here. Let's be colorful. Let me do it. I don't know. I'm gonna do a weird color. Purple. It's not a weird color. My bad. Right? We there, right? All right. Boom. Remember? Hold up. We right here. This is 1, 2. Excuse me. And you can count these as the same because they kind of line up, right? But this is what I did. You see, I'm here with this low right here. Me seeing that this never came to the zone 1, I'm calculating if I didn't buy over here, right? I'm like, all right, There's a potential short that can happen in this area. It did. They go to highs right here. But listen, this high never got ran by here. That was the fake out. So everybody's thinking breakout retest. Oh, U30 is going down. I'm already prepared here, right? When I see situations like this as a pivot, I'm allowing the market to break until you print me another red candle, whatever other candle you use. Now I'm excited. Look at this. Because this is what we yearn for. We yearn for that short zone to really react, and we do orange. Because this adds substance to exactly what I was looking for. Because this is the entirety of the daily time frame where I don't have to go up to the daily. And I want to stress that. Put in the chat. I asked this question to my actual chat. Gun to your head. If somebody said, yo, you only can use one time frame for the next 30 days, and I need you to take this $1,000 or $10,000 this one time frame. If I go back in your history and you switch the time frame, I'm blowing your brains out. But I'm gonna give you the ultimatum. If you use that one time frame and you don't get to 10,000, I'm gonna still let you go. But if I see you switch to one time frame, what time frame are you using to avoid your brains from getting like splat? What time frame you using? I want to see in the chat. I'm gonna tell y'all mine. I ain't tweaking. Look at the chat. Look, and I'm not copying and pasting just because they said 4 hours. The people you see said 4 hours, they know game. They know game. I'm getting excited because this is what I've always dreamed of people to get a system of trading to where they can pass this down to their lineage without me ever existing in that lineage. They don't even have to mention me because I'm not here for the credit, yo. The credit ain't gonna help that person. It's gonna help if I'm repeating the same stuff over and over and over for them to say, yo, bro, look, I'm gonna show you a simplified way to trade, bro. All that gunk you looking up about trading up there, bro, just tap in with me for a good week. I'm gonna put you on game with my homie Top put me on. Because why they trusting you? Remember, your people are gonna trust you. They don't know me. You could have made $10,000 with me, meaning you made it on your own strength based off the system. You could have made that. And you know, people still not gonna believe you by saying, hey, I learned this from him. I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna tell you to go to him. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna look in your face. Why you can't show me? You see, we all have different purposes in life, but if you stumble across this gift and you make room for your lifestyle to increase, I don't have to exist in that lifestyle. You know why? Because people are gonna come to you and say, yo, how you doing this? Show me. You lose, and this is, I say this lightly, you lose and you don't lose credibility. But you know, when we was in that recruiting little IM thing, when people was yeah, like prime example, somebody like, yo, I can show you somebody for real who know how to trade, and you in the same situation, you in the same group they in, but you said, I'm gonna show you to my mentor. You know how much credibility you lose by bringing people to me, especially if you already know game. Now, if that person is just annoying you, that's when you send it to me. Because I ain't got time, bro. I try to put you on, you won't listen to me. So now you got to pay his price. And you try to put people on for free with the same game I'm giving that people invest in. You feel where I'm going with that? So when somebody says, okay, the Dow Jones is going to a price, I really want to go to the internet to see who called that before it happened. Because we did. And this is the thing. This is the thing. I was giving it to people when this candle was printing right here. None of this existed. I said, yo, I said what I said, U30 all-time highs was calculated with shorts. When this candle was right here at 1030, bro, nobody believed that it was going to drop. And we don't even trade U30 like that. I had to make a point today. I wasn't proving anything. I had to make a point today. to show people that I can pull up 50. I can go through all 50 right now. If I want 30 plus right now and show you the same system of exacts. Right? But I ain't got nothing to prove to y'all. Right? Because if you caught the move, you're gonna go ask yourself, like, yo, how my boy Trey, I don't even know if he on the call. The reason Trey came to the chat, Trey was already making bank. Reason Trey came to the bank, he even said it verbatim when he was on the trip. He said, yo, Top, I just had to because I went to a price that didn't even exist, and then I waited to see if it was gonna happen, and it happened. And I was like, how does he see this? And it never existed because I was calling out all-time highs like it was like a price that already existed. But you get to that point when you start to do what? Follow the imbalance. If you don't understand this, you'll never understand why this even existed. You'll never get to see it. People are going to tell you all day this. That's what they're going to tell you right here. They're going to do this. All right, guys. They're going to draw the fib. They're going to say, hey, guys, we're going to buy right here. Boom. Buy worked in your favor. Let's get it. They're going to think it's more all-time highs. Whole time, look, it's creating support. Where do we potentially see these lows getting taken out at? Look, it's showing you. So even if we going up, you should have been in position right here. This was last night or yesterday afternoon. You should have been in position right here. And why is it that this confidence zone is lining up with this zone 1? Meaning we have more substance that could potentially still come down here. But you don't always go with potential. You go with, yo, I'm going to set my limit right here. I'm going to set my limit right here. And by the time this little situation happened right here, look the exact. You called that from over here. I'm going to go ahead and set my limit right here. By the time you cruising through London, you waking up, you would have thought you was a U30 genius. You would have been like, hold up. But where would you have exited? Right here. Because you had it mapped out, gang. You already had this mapped out. Mind you, and I say this so wholeheartedly. When you see your pair print, why aren't you already positioning yourself? Because you're afraid of losing. You're not even afraid of some people. Look, you could still even have came here and caught a short into the buys. You could have said, yo, I'm gonna ping myself here, right? Because I don't have no substance. I missed the move today. I missed this run up this morning. Okay, great. I'm gonna position myself right here. You still could have put the same risk on that you would have put here to get here. You know what? It's the afternoon. I done called 750. It's a nice 200 base points. A 0.1 with that, that's $2,000. 0.05, $1,000 with U30. You ping them here, you got the same amount of trade. Right? So by the time you sit here, you're now like, hold on. I normally don't trade indices during Asian sessions. So you know what? I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm gonna hold on to this buy. I'm gonna set my stop loss right here because U30 can't get wild. I'm cool. Right here, 47. I got picked up at nope. I got picked up at really 50. You know what I'm saying? You got picked up at 758, 30 to 60. Remember that. 30 to 60, the last two numbers, 30 to 60. You get picked up right at 58. It never came to 30, whatever. Right? You cruising through London, you wake up, you see this, you're zone 2, you probably like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. But what are you supposed to be doing, gang? Following the imbalance, 3 or more. 3 or more. So this is you waking up at what time? What time, chat? What time we pay attention to? 6 o'clock. I get that. You now like, yo, Ty, wait a minute, bro. I was supposed to, bro, but I got stopped out. Are you sure? Because you should have been right here. But I'm going to do you one better, man. You know what? You did get stopped out. Why are you whining? What time is it? It's 8:30, right? So you still got 3 or more right there. You missed it. You missed it. I'm so sorry for your loss. So sorry for your loss, man. But if you understand this psychology right here, right, you would have understood to be like, I would have been had this stuff mapped out based off of this one. And let alone, don't get me wrong, what was you supposed to do firsthand right here? My bad, I'm tripping. I'm going out of order. 3 or more right here. Let's extend this so you can see it. Whole time you whining, you crying. Till you said 3 or more. Whole time you had the major imbalance right here. So not only did you catch this zone 1 of this imbalance, this zone, where do we have the correlation? Caddy corner here to here. purpose of the call. And look, hold up. Let's delete everything. I know you're like, hold on, let's delete everything. Because I can see it and you can't. You probably was flustered with that. So this would have been your first entry, right? This would have been your zone 2. Look where we at, zone 2. Right? Moment that prints, you hit them right here. But hold up, Todd, this candle ran up. You know what? I gotta follow suit, bro. You did say follow suit. By the time I'm here, even if you gotta switch the colors, gang, it's okay. Choose the 2 that makes sense to you. Right? I go gray, it's just neutral. I'm here and I'm here. But look at how flawless this is, gang. Look, gun to your head. What time frame you trading? Bro, I could go a week trading 30 minutes and be perfectly fine. I could go a week trading a 1 minute and be perfectly fine. Can you? No, you can't. Right? I don't encourage it. But you set yourself up like that. That was the last major imbalance. By that time, you did what, gang? We didn't even need what I showed you earlier. You just follow the imbalance. Do you see that? So this way you like, dang, I missed this buy. Oh, but I got another opportunity. All right, cool. I don't see no. But look, whole time price running through this zone, not showing you no support. It's giving you a heads up to be like, yo, hey, I'm in. You sleep during London though. You sleep during London. You should have caught that right there. Afternoon. Then you see it come down here. You're like, all right, hold up, bro. Ty, I don't know. You have no resistance here yet. What are you tripping on? Trust the system. So even if you bought here and got stopped out here, this is your second opportunity. Ping it here and sit still. So by the time you get here, even if you bought here, you like, oh shoot, Ty, I got, you 30. By the time you see this run up and this come down, you're like, oh shoot, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and get out. That's okay. But if you right here, you ain't tripping. You like, nah, bro. At minimum, I'm gonna get out here. Or minimum, I'm gonna get out TP1 here. That's what I'm aiming for. This is how you trust your trades.com. So by the time I'm here, what do we have to do, gang? We have to do here, and we have to go where? Here. Now you can do one of these too. This is definitely a pivot right here. Filler. You can go here, or you can go here. But Ty, you said follow the system, so we're gonna go here. So what does it do for me? Zone 2, wide open. Right? But also this leaves me back where? To zone 1 in my confidence zone. But where am I sitting at now? Below here. But nothing happened for me to transpire. So now I have to do what? Sit here, and I just wait for the market to do what the market gonna do. So that lets me know, where does this put me? Underneath all this liquidity. So if I'm really gonna try to get up here and play some guesswork, I'm just gonna sit still. I ain't gonna really set my limit too steep. I do want to see a reaction right here. But I'm gonna also come up here. So if we ready to roll, you 30, I'm ready to roll with you. My thing is I had to be aware of where I'm at in the market. And I see here. And I don't do nothing else because I'm playing what I see. Now I'm gonna go down here and make sure I make sense of, all right, I'm on a 30 minute, what it look like on a 4 hour. Because that's what we homage at, right? Look at where, yeah, number 5 of the pillars, chat. Don't put it in the chat though. No, number 5 of the pillars. Let me see who know the pillars. Number 5 in the pillars, put it in the chat. When we see wicks like this, we get excited. What do we potentially could see price if it does run up here? Because it really already did it right here. Number 5 in the chat. Yay. Jalen got to it first. Tie scope. But what do I have here? Imbalance, man. So it's like this confidence zone lines up with this imbalance. What do you mean by that, Ty? Easy. Remember when I mapped this out? And price did what? No, it did. It did. It came to the zone 1 right here. So this would have been your opportunity right here. But if we go in pair, right, price could potentially still come into this confidence zone. But if you on the stretch, this is nothing but a daily candle most likely. And you still see opportunities here, but you still see the white space. We found clarity in that. That's where my whole objective was when I figured out this system, where wherever a wick is in a white space, I want to make sure I can find out why. And the lower you go, you get more substance on your potentials. So you don't get caught up in shorting here too soon and you get wiped out. And then finally prices, and then you're trying to chase the market down and it keeps going back in this zone, and then you give up. And then you finally get the move and you're like, oh my God, man. Then you trying to sell down here. You done missed all of this. Right? I know some people got bamboozled trying to buy this wick when it was coming down. I was like, if this turns red, we still probably gonna go down. But we're in a zone two right now. Right? We're in a zone two, but more than likely, this wick leaves room for opportunity. All right, so I know this was an extensive call, man. So drop some files in the chat if you learned something, man. I'm excited for you. It's been a great week for us. We don't have to do the most tomorrow because we caught a lot of. Let me look at gold, see what's happening. Well, this was Nasdaq too, as a briefing. Let me delete that because I don't know what's on the right side. But this was Nasdaq. This was Nasdaq-y, man. This is all color coded. Right? If you're wondering why we got that buy there, I went over that. We right here. Confident zone, very confident, right? You were probably itching to get a zone two right here, but if you was very aware of your 1 hour, you would have been able to get substance here. I gave this out too, bro. I don't know why people didn't like this right here. And then I said, yo, everything is intentional. This lined up, excuse me, was it this or was it that? No, it was this. It was this. It was this. Or was it 30 minute? Nah, it was. I think it was a 30 minute. Let me go back. Let me go back. I want to get exacts, man. I want to get exacts. Yeah, it was this. It was a 30 minute. It was this bad boy right here. Yep. Right there on the dime, man. On the dime. What did I say in the chat? I said it's only a matter of time before the limits fall in line. Who's calling wicks like that? Tell me, bro. Tell me, bro. Tell me. I get them a year free in the chat. On me. On me. On me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here to brag or boast, but I'm here to toast to a celebration of you refining the system to align it with a system that works for you. Remember, this is something that works for me. All I'm doing is passing what works for me. If this does not work for you, it's not for you, right? This isn't where I'm trying to sell a strategy, sell a course to a strategy. This is where I'm putting people on game to see why these lines make sense of things that haven't happened yet, right? And if you can make sense of that for yourself, we'll always be in cohe. We'll always be. I would say we'll always be together, in energy wise, because you're now seeing what I'm seeing, right? And there's gonna be somebody who stumbles across something where they see something that I don't see, and I'm gonna be very honest right here, brutally honest. I'm gonna celebrate and clap for them because they did some extra work that I wasn't willing to do because I found a system that works for me. So I don't have to go beyond this, is what I'm saying. Now, when I do my extracurricular activities with being in the lab, that's only to discover things for myself that simplifies even more for me. Right. So I'm honored if you learned something. And if you didn't, definitely reach out to me if you want to know more. If you want to be a part of the chat, understand all of that information. Just hit me up in the description below at said Instagram, Twitter, whatever you use, and we can get you there. Right? I'm not here to sell you anything. You'll find me when the time is right, and you'll join us when the time is right. I'm not here to recruit you. I'm here to salute you. Y'all be safe. I'm going to get this over to my YouTube channel. It's free, so you can go back and watch this at any given time. I won't take it down because I'm only teaching this way moving forward. So anything beyond these 3 videos I did this week, I'm going to tell you that's old information. Come to the new. And if you want to discover the levels of these prices and levels of these fibs, you got to come get that sauce. You got to be willing to invest in yourself, though. Right? I invested $42,000 into a university with a music degree. I play my music passionately. Hasn't paid me as trading has. right. So I'm telling you, be willing to invest whatever it takes for you to invest to get the knowledge in half the amount of time. If you think about it, I've only taught for an hour and some change for 3 sessions this week. You can learn a buku of that and be free with trading for the rest of your life just by coming back to those same 3 videos. All right, so y'all be safe. Want to get this over to the chat, man. I appreciate y'all for joining. Have a great week. Oh, see gold. I got you, Jay. I got you, Jay. You want to see somebody see gold. Bet. So this is how we mapped out gold, brother. So we're on a 30-minute. So you missed the bulk of it, but if you just go in and map out the imbalance, this is kind of what we mapped out. I think, yeah, we used this one. It's kind of where we got the sell-off. You see price kind of doing this thing here. This imbalance hasn't been fulfilled. So if you're following the imbalance, this is really what the outlook of tonight could be. I'm still seeing a potential rate above here. Absolutely. But if price is ready to maybe lean into London, get a reaction here or here, take out this low right here, somewhere down in here, one of the two has to happen first. And it's all about setting your limit on whatever happens first. So you can set a limit here, you can set a limit here, or you can set a limit here, going about your business, wake up in the morning, see what happens. All right. So other than that, y'all be safe, man. Like I said, this will be on YouTube for rewatch. We won't have a call tomorrow with my chat. We'll probably have our own call. I'm gonna aim for Saturday, but then we'll do our weekly outlook exactly verbatim for everybody to see on YouTube. So I appreciate y'all as always, man. Thank you. Yeah, I got that method too. Nice, nice, Jay. But yeah, hit me up, bro.